Travis Adams scores a touchdown again, and then Ja'Cory Norris threw another interception for a touchdown.
So you got four touchdowns in a game. Two of them were Travis Adams rushing touchdowns,
Correct.
and two of them were pick sixes from Ja'Cory.
From Ja'Cory, yes. Wow. It seems to be a trend with this Tioga defense, especially, and we talked about it during the broadcast a lot. Our DBs are very good at reading quarterbacks' eyes.
Right.
And they did it, and it was Ja'Cory's night. Last week was Max Cadness, he had one. The week before, it was him and Josh Lloyd had one. So that is 5 pick sixes in 3 games thus far for the Tioga secondary.
Wow.
And, they're pretty good. And then just to top it off, he had a third interception later on in the thing, but not a pick six. And then Kenny Ponche punches it in towards the end. So that's what was your 35-0 score there for Tioga.
Well, there you have it, and Rich, we got a recap of it there. But your thoughts on it? And we've seen this Pineville team that has been for 3 quarters. They're in these games, and just seems like maybe fatigue in numbers. But what is your look at it?
Well, it was what I had said before the game to a handful of folks that had texted wanting to know what I thought the score might be, what I thought the game might be, and I said if Pineville could keep it close going into the fourth quarter, we would have a shot. It was 14-0 at half, but keep in mind that one of those scores came off of the pick six. My colleague can say they played sluggish. I'd like to think our defense played tough.
Right.
And I would like to think that, they did do well from that standpoint. But you do wear down when you don't have a great deal of depth as far as, the defense is concerned. Tioga does a great job of spreading you out. And so that did make it difficult. Pineville came out with basically a completely different game plan, running out of the eye where they've been running out of a veer a good bit this season. They brought some speed to the tailback spot from the other side of the football, including a couple of defensive players that were touching the football for the first time all season as far as offense is concerned. And it seemed to be very effective in that way. But, in the end, when Pineville had to go to the air to pass, that played right into Tioga's defense. And that, at the end of the day, when you do not have a lot of experience throwing the ball and you have inexperienced receivers, it made for a pick six fest, and Tioga took advantage of that.
We've seen Jalen Whitty mature from last season that we saw him at quarterback, and he's done that. How is he adjusting? It's difficult. We've seen that Tioga secondary has just taken advantage of a lot of quarterbacks this season early on. But let me get your progression on Jalen Whitty and where he's at.
Well, I mean, he's a lefty. He's got he can chunk the ball downfield with the best of them. On Friday night, he had 62 yards through the air, not a great deal, 9 of 15 completion-wise for Jalen. But again, he's throwing to several young men that are playing varsity or playing that wide receiver position as a starter for the first time.
Yeah.
And that's hurting. You had some guys like Justin Rachel that stepped up. Also, our backup quarterback, Garrett Jackson, just through practice this past week, became one of a target for him. And that, again, takes a difficult adjustment. That's why they talk about how many reps you get during the summer with 7-on-7 and how many opportunities you get to throw the ball and build camaraderie with your wide receivers. And when you don't have that, and you're down by 2 or 3 scores, then you get desperate, then you push things, then you try to make things happen. And when you have a D1 prospect like Ja'Cory and Norris sitting there watching your eyes, it made for a long night at the reservation.
It's almost not fair the way Ja'Cory Norris reads the football either.
Agreed.
We've seen it's. I've not seen a DB out of this area maybe since Bud Clark that has been that much of someone that goes after and can see the eyes of the quarterback and go get it too.
And you can't go away from him either because you got Josh Lloyd on the other side who is just as sneaky. They just happened to throw it on on Jacorian's side that night, and both of them, those two safeties are really, really dominant.
Yep.
So
That's a nice comparison, because Bud Clark went over to TCU.
he did. Matter of fact,
Still there.
He's there, and he played in the national championship game, a pick six in the semifinal, and then Coach Prime's first victim. So I mean, look at all the stuff he got to brag about. But no, it's great to be able to reminisce about some of these names that we see. Bishop's Bowl rolled around. We talked a lot about that last week on the show.
We did.
Give us an update on that.
So St. Mary's, they are the #1 ranked team in the Select Division 4.
Right.
Came in, they were 2-0. They're now 3-0. And actually Menard came in ranked number 12 in the Select Division 3.
Right.
With a 1-1 after the victory over Pineville that they had last week. The game.
So you're 0-2 calling games against St. Mary's this year. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get my stats straight on here.
St. Mary's
But
has
yes.
asked if I would call the game next week.
That's right.
But, Menard came out. I have to say, the Eagles played hard, and this is what David wanted out of his team. He wanted the effort to be there for all 4 quarters.
Right.
As Coach Perkins said at the end of the game, St. Mary's will wake up sore. There were some good licks that were had out there and made. The defense came out and they played. They kind of continued what they had done against Pineville. They stopped them on the first drive because St. Mary's won the toss, elected to receive. A lot of times, you want to defer.
Right.
You see it defer. So the Eagles stopped them without a first down. They had -2 yards. The Eagles get the football back. They can only get 10 yards.
Right.
Then Ryan Hicks flips the field down to the 4-yard line, and on the second play, they smacked St. Mary's, and I think it was Drake Griffin fumbled the football.
Oh wow.
And Menard recovers at the 12, and they take it into the end zone. A little penalty helped them get a 1st and goal. They on a 4th down play that they weren't going to get it, but St. Mary's had a penalty. But then they were able to take advantage. Went up 7-6. St. Mary scored at the end of the first quarter on a 79-yard drive to make it 7-6, and then St. Mary's put a touchdown on the board. It was 12-7 at half, and the Eagles came back. And in all reality, I mean, it's kind of weird, but St. Mary's only had 2 drives
Right.
in the second half, and Menard had 4, but St. Mary's had 2 pick sixes, so that really killed Menard on the turnovers. St. Mary's had 2 turnovers, a fumble in the first half, and Menard scored. I think Maddox Shelton picked off a pass after at around the 50-yard line or so. But again, they've got to get some offense moving for the Eagles, we move the football, but just can't continue to keep the drive moving.
Well, we look forward to the Eagles, and we'll talk about what they've got coming up next week. One team that had no shortage of offense in this game, and anytime you've got Jim Burlew back there, there's going to be a lot of that. But Xander Smith joins us. Xander, here's your big opportunity. I know it was your first chance in the booth this past Friday with Scott Mills on there, recent former player. I mean, you played for the Panthers last year, right?
Yes, sir.
You
I
just
did.
graduated. Give me your take on what you saw out of Buckeye this week.
Well, we started off strong. We decided to receive the ball first half, and we marched down the field. Adam Bronax threw a touchdown, gave the ball to Jim Burlew like always, ran it straight up the middle. Every time Jim gets the ball, he's such a patient runner,
Right.
and as soon as he sees the hole, he's gone. And they started off pretty strong. They caught Pine Prairie threw a few interceptions to Buckeye, and you have players like Chris Stanley and Jim Burlew, which plays defense, and he caught a pick 6 as well, returned it all the way back to
So
the second
everybody has
half.
pick sixes in these, yeah, and so that didn't even count on one of his 9 touchdowns, I don't
Yes, sir.
believe.
Yes, sir. And yeah, I've definitely seen them improve in the passing game since the beginning of the season, because Adam Bronax, he stepped up since last year, and this is his first year ever playing football, 3rd start, and he's working his way up there. He's getting better in the passing game.
How are the kids responding to Coach McLaughlin, Coach Ben?
Oh, yes, sir. They responded good. He kind of came in with a different attitude than our old coach, and he kind of put his foot down. He's like, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to change everything. And he started up with this quick plan. Like after the play, quick. And it seems like it's working so far.
We've heard NASCAR many a times up in the press box
Yes,
that we've covered him. Well, it was a great start. We're going to talk about your player of the week. We're going to talk about the cool play of the game in just a moment. But glad to have you on board. Glad to have you on the show.
Thank you.
The Broadnax young man,
Right.
is really coming into his own as a quarterback. I mean, getting a chance to watch him play, because we did the jamboree.
Right.
Menard played him in the jamboree, and then seeing him against St. Mary's, he's going to be a good little quarterback.
It's his third start this year.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we look forward to following that progression as certainly as we will proceed through the season.
Hey, Doug, tell us a little bit about Ash, buddy.
Trojans finally get in the win column after a big win, 56-14. They pick up the victory. After going down south, down 49 a couple of times, they welcomed Coach Jess Curtis and the Natchitoches Central Chiefs down from, of course, north, I-49 North, came in here, and just like a lot of folks like to do, Natchitoches Central won the toss and deferred, and that played right up into the Trojans' hands, because 50 seconds later, it was a touchdown. Trojans go for 2 and get it with Mingo pulling the trigger on that one. Go for the onside kick. Trojans get it. Another one in. Before the first hydration timeout, it was 22-0. The Trojans were on the board, and 5 minutes to go in the second quarter, and the clock was running. So it was certainly one of those things that you wanted to see. Let me get onto the right stats, and I'll tell you. Had a little end around there and got the first down of the way. But Ty Feaster, first-year starter for the Trojans, goes 9 of 15, 232 yards. He's got 600-plus yards rushing. Had 3 TDs on the night. Max Gassett, the freshman, gets an 80-yard touchdown pass in the game towards the end of it. JT Lindsey continues to do big things. He carried the ball 15 yards for 126 yards and 4 touchdowns, all of those in the first half. So JT Lindsey, who was our player of the week, made a good showing for it this week as well. So he was a player of the week last week. Will somebody have done something different to knock him off from his player of the week status from a week ago? I don't know. You have to stick around and we'll find that out. So we talked about Tioga Pineville. We talked about Pineville Tioga, Menard, Buckeye, and Alexandria getting there first. Well, we've got updated standings that'll be coming your way. Finally, the Trojans getting off the schneid. We'll talk about games that are coming up for us. We'll look at those standings. We'll reveal our cool plays of the game, our players of the week. And we couldn't do it without the folks here at Quebedeaux. Rich, I know that we've had a lot of occasions to come out and visit with the folks here at Quebedeaux, and I don't think I've eaten one thing that's been bad since we've been here.
The great thing about someone that trained under Paul Prudhomme is that whatever he cooks, whether he's just boiling water, it's gonna come out
That's
really
right.
good. And I know I smell some good things coming out of the kitchen right now, so can't wait till this show's over to enjoy some of that. But yes, when you talk about a local homegrown success story, as you and I both have had a chance to watch this when it was just a shell of a building, to be what it is now, and that Quebedeaux's name as it is becoming a name that folks from I-20 to I-10 know so well, and John and Leslie and their 3 boys just creating quite a legacy in food and in quality of life, and that's what it's all about. And whether it's steaks, whether it's seafood, whether it's pasta that they make fresh here daily, we love Quebedeaux and we appreciate their support of all that we do on 446.
Indeed, and you can come see them on Thursday nights. The Tioga Coaches Show here now. The Reservation Roundup has found a home on Thursday nights. You're right, Rich. I echo that. Can't wait to eat following this special 4-hour edition of
No.
Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. You're watching Coach Speak right here on 446 Sports.
Everybody dancing all night long. Everybody dancing all night long. Everybody dancing all night long. Somebody's dancing to my song.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks right from your phone, day or night, wherever you are or whatever you're doing. Download our mobile app today.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Harrell, Certified Residential Appraiser. I am currently a leading provider of appraisal services for mortgage lending, employee relocation, estate planning, and community property settlements. My experience in real estate over the past 13 years and currently serving as president of the Greater Central Louisiana Realtors Association has given me a clear understanding of the real estate world and the ever-changing market we live in today. For any of your valuation needs, give me, Kimberly Harrell, a call.
Is your vision just not as crisp and clear as it used to be? Are you having difficulty driving, especially at night? Are you over 40 and now needing reading glasses? If so, the trusted eye care team at Wallace Eye Associates is here to help with your family's eye care needs, just like we have been for nearly 40 years. Call Wallace Eye Associates today at 318-448-4488 to schedule your next eye evaluation.
I'm Jason Hawk with Farm Bureau Insurance. Did you know that September is Life Insurance Awareness Month? Our team is here to educate about life insurance and help you make the right coverage choices with the right agent this month and every month. Taking care of your family can be simple and something you can do today. There's no better time than now to learn how life insurance can protect your family's financial security. So talk to Hawk at 318-791-HAWK or online at talktohawk.com and let us help you protect what matters most.
Back to Quebedeaux on a Sunday night. This is our Week 3 edition, or is this kicking off Week 4? I don't know. This is a Week 3 edition of it is what we're doing. Yeah, a big shout out to Polos and Plaids there in Alexandria for these cool shirts that they prepare for us. You can go by there and check them out. They're open Wednesdays through Fridays from 10:30 to 5 or 10 to 5:30. Go over there and you can order them online and they'll get them here. They've got a wide array of different shirts and uniform needs. So Polos and Plaids there in Alexandria. Check that out. Tom, you had a question while we were going to the break.
Yeah, I mean, and I was going to ask you before you got into all the stats and stuff, but then when you started, I held off. But Ash's new turf. It looks great in pictures on Facebook because that's the only time I've seen it. But tell me about it.
It was really neat. It's been a long process. Part of that bond that was voted in, they got that, and they'll start to work on their new football facility, their field house area next year. But it was great to be out there. The coaches all talk about not having to go paint the field on Thursday nights. Asked them if they would miss that. They said no. But it's great. They did a little ribbon cutting. Coach Bachman, you could tell, was getting a little aggravated because it was delaying in, and he was ready to get to the coin toss and all, and they're waiting for the camera to get set up, and one of the local news agencies was sluggish getting there, and Bachman's standing there with the scissors in his hand, and if we all know our coaches, and we all know that look that our coaches have, and you've seen it before too, as a player on there, it's like, this is over. Yeah, this is let's wrap this up. He says, here, y'all can cut this. But the turf is beautiful. It's everything. They don't have to go back and paint. It's very fast. We've seen that. These kids get up and down that, but it's good to be able to know that they can go out there. But we talked to Coach Free before the game, and Coach Sedarian Freeman, he's the offensive line coach, and he said, look, because we asked him, would your guys rather be out there playing in the mud and the grass and all of that? He says, when the whistle blows, he said, we don't care what it is. Let's just go play. But it's great for the community. It's great for the Trojans, and next we're working on the press box and the windows one of these days. Yeah. We hope. But thank you for that question. It's beautiful, and you need to go by there. They don't have the little black pellets in there anymore. It's kind of it's a different style, so you don't see that generated a lot of heat. In these newer models, you don't have that on it. So it's great to do that.
Did you walk on it?
I have.
Is it cushiony.
It is. It's very cushiony. I mean, it's not like, so the old days when the turf came out, it was that old St. Louis Cardinals, Ozzie Smith looking turf that was there that was so, that it looked like it was a little carpet on top of concrete. And now if you've seen it, it's almost like a shag carpet type of deal. So it's very soft. It's great. But you see some NFL coaches or players. I mean, Aaron Rodgers. They were complaining about that they thought that injury. So where's the happy medium in it?
Can't make
Yeah,
some
I mean,
people happy.
Aaron Rodgers didn't look like it was anything other than he just got bent over in the wrong way, and he's almost 40.
And,
Right.
and that's probably the case. It's the curse of the Jets too. I mean, that's easily what it is. But no, it's great to have it, and it feels really good. It was a little weird. The security guard asked me to leave when I took my shoes off and was walking around. It's like that's kind of weird. But so we're gonna.
We would do the same, so I mean.
Why do people keep asking me to leave just because I take my shoes off? I don't understand that. It's crazy. I'll try that in the press box next week.
Would
for
you
Arkansas.
put them back on right
Well,
now, please?
See, there it goes. So we're gonna start down on that end of it. Rich, your Southern Air cool play of the game.
Well, I need to see what the producer ended up coming up with because I let him and Nathan work that out. But I believe this is early in the first quarter as we were marching toward the end zone and had a play with one of our, first time running on the offense, running backs, number 5, Ty Sanders, and that wound up being our cool play of the game where he went around right end as we were moving right to left.
Did you see that chuck finger that you just got? I've witnessed that one on a lot of occasions, but you're doing a tremendous job at field time right here. You were doing great.
What's the old thing? Stretch.
That's right. Yeah, I need this.
And
Let's call an audible.
He says check your phone. So we're gonna move over here. Let's get to Billy real quick. While we'll go there, we'll go to the Tioga one, and it's almost getting like a broken record. The one that it is, Billy, but take it.
Yeah, the Southern Air cool play of the game. It was tough. We were trying to choose, but of course, the first 4 touchdowns, 2 for Travis Adams, 2 for Ja'Cory Norris. And Travis Adams had, he had a day. I didn't even mention he had 13 carries for 152 yards, on the ground.
Chuck looking perplexed
Travis
again
had
with
it
you.
great, but Ja'Cory Norris was our cool player of the game. He had the interception. I want to say it was a little over 40 yards, and it just set the tone early after scoring back to back, and it just kind of the game. So go ahead and show that clip if you're ready. Whenever you're ready, sir.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting for.
Yeah.
Right.
And again, he reads it immediately and is gone. And I'm telling you, the young man is so quick and so fast and very, very polite. A lot of kids are cocky young men. This guy here, he might be cocky once he's on the field, but when he's talking to you, he looks you in the eye, shakes your hand firmly, and it's just a really, really, really nice young man. And again, he's going to get a lot of looks this year. If he keeps doing what he's doing, he might set some records as well.
Well,
And
again,
he shuts down that secondary.
It'll be great to follow along with there. Now, with that thumbs up, I think we can go back over to Rich. And Rich, set yours up one more time.
Well, so our cool play video, sponsored by our good friends at Southern Air, was the highlight of what few highlights we had. Came from our running back, again, touching the ball and going around right side. There we were at the 34-yard line. And he ends up busting it around the right side, gets within the 15 and knocked out of bounds. Rebels would go on and get within the 5 and unfortunately fumbled the ball at the 1. But again, you've got some young men getting an opportunity to be in the spotlight in a game where you want to come out when you're undermanned, if you will, from a standpoint of offense, and you try something different. And Ty Sanders, along with a couple of other defensive backs, got an opportunity to do that, and he gets the honor of being the Southern Air Cool Play of the Game.
I tell you, we've not heard Ty Sanders' name before, I don't think, on this broadcast. Tell me a little bit more about him.
Well, he's the son of a local pastor, and fantastic young man coming up. Defensive back is where he primarily plays, and you know, has made a name there. But again, we were quite shocked when the Rebels lined up in the eye on the very first series and number 5, and I'm, you know, looking through multiple panes of glass and just making sure that, you know, that was him.
You wouldn't have had that problem if you were outside.
Anyway, yes, or if I was sitting where you were, where you had the open glass, but that's okay.
Open the glass, it slides.
As we move forward,
Anyway, next time I want to sit on the other end.
yes.
No problem.
So anyway,
So the Eagles.
Eagles play the game. Yes.
Southern
Let's
Air
just
cool
sum over.
play of the game. And like Rich kind of set his up.
Twice.
It was, yeah. It
Chuck does production for Tioga as well. I see a pattern that's developing here. Chuck, I didn't think you'd do that, buddy. And Chuck is a Pineville grad. Did I mention that too? How and come on, Chuck.
We pulled his card.
That's right.
yeah, the paycheck comes from Tioga. Though.
Right. That's
Yeah.
right.
So a little bit tough to find, you know, a cool play of the game within this one. That's wasn't a ton of offense, but St. Mary's gonna have a Division I kicker.
Right.
You know, Ryan Hicks might actually, you know, go somewhere too. I mean,
Yeah,
you gotta
you'd
have
set
some
that
folks
up.
looking at him, but Payne Williams, you know, he came out. We were talking about him, and Colorado State. He's their number 1 guy.
Wow.
You know, he was there. Their recruits were there for the Buckeye game, watching the Buckeye game, and
You need to get that.
Somebody's at my front door. But anyway, he came out and he missed the first extra point.
Right.
And he was putting all the kicks in the end zone for the most part. 2 of them didn't make it. This one was in the 4th quarter. The score was 26-7 at the time, and he kicks a line drive, and hopefully you'll be able to see it. Jaden Williams, number 7, will catch it close to the ground and around the 15-yard line, and he's able to scoop it up and then take it and bring it up the sideline or close to the sideline, the hash marks, all the way out to the 50. It was a 35-yard return. It set the Eagles up, and they were able to go down and put a touchdown on the board to cut the lead to 26-13, but the game for the most part was over because that was so late in the game.
Right.
They couldn't come back. They tried an onside kick, and St. Mary's covered it, and they were able to run the clock out. But you know, they had 2 nice returns, and we were kind of going back and forth. But the fact that he was able to pick that one up,
Right.
and catch it almost like a baseball line drive, and then run it back 35 yards.
Well, there you have the Menard
Jaden Williams.
Southern Air cool play of the game. There you have it. So this is again a night of first for you. You get to
Yes,
set
sir.
up the cool play of the game for Buckeye.
Our Southern Air play of the game was Jim Burley. He
Okay.
kind of
Imagine that. Right.
Kind of, I think it was a 90-yard pick six.
Let's see what you got there. So wait a minute.
Wait,
Hold,
wait,
pause
don't-
that.
don't
Can you
run that.
pause that thing?
I was just
Wait.
going to say, this is the perfect cool play of the game because it's Burlew.
Oh gosh, I wish that's not what I stopped it.
Show everybody.
That's
Thank you so much.
that's not what we stopped it for. No. So I'm used. I mean, Burley's got 9 touchdowns on the ground rushing the ball, and you're saying the cool play of the game is coming from a pick 6 that he had?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's do that again. My goodness, that Burlew kid. So take us through this one.
Well, Pine Prairie last year they didn't throw the ball that much, and Jim Burley, you notice him on most of the time on offense. So he was playing linebacker, and he was just at the right spot at the right time, and he pick-sixed it, and he cut across the field and took it all the way 90 yards.
Now, when he watches this show, he's going to tell you that he had himself positioned, that he wasn't in the right place at
Yes,
the right
sir.
time, but he read the quarterback's eyes as he rolled and went to it.
Yes,
But
sir.
now that's great to see that young man. What a pleasure to watch what Jim Burlew is doing.
I hope he stays
But
hydrated.
10 touchdowns, playing both ways.
Yeah.
And
He was
makes it
telling
through
me
the
he
whole
was
game.
gassed.
Is he on the kickoff return as well?
I don't think so. No, sir.
He needs
He
to
will
be.
be next week.
Right. For the Trojans, ours happened early in the game, the Southern Air Cool play of the game. It was a little bit of razzle-dazzle. So many people focused on that little touch pass. You know, you bring I guess that jet sweep is what it was, but they toss the ball to this, so it's a
Line
pass
Lindsey
to the
now in the
receiver.
backfield. He brings
Well,
Mingo
you
in
see
motion.
Mingo
There's
get
that
it.
little
He's
touch
gonna
pass, a
flip
little
it back to
razzle-dazzle
Washington, and
to the near
here's
side, and
Washington
hey,
takes it
got a
around
chance,
the
20,
horn. A little bit
15,
of
10.
razzle-dazzle
Gonna walk
is
into
called,
the
and
end
that
zone
is the
for the
first touchdown
Trojans.
of the game, and
That's a
that led
touchdown.
to the
Darius
two-point
Washington,
conversion.
touchdown.
Isn't it? Look, so you saw the turf that was in the back of the end zone there. That was the first thing that they laid down was the purple end zone. And so I was getting a lot of calls. Is that field going to be purple? Is that field going to be purple? And all I could tell them was, yes, it is. And so now you imagine the disappointment when it wasn't. But that was our Southern Air Cool play of the game. Set the tone. Trojans get the 2-point conversion, onside kick, come back and score again. And clock was running with about 5 minutes to go on that game.
So it's a pass that became a run.
I still don't know how to score it. I still don't know where the yards were because yes, it was a pass that gets.
And then he pitched it back to a running play.
That is correct, sir. That's
Nice.
yes. We still officially don't have the exact scoring on that. Maybe if John Wolf is watching at home, he can give us an update
Shoot
on
me a
that.
text.
Since we're not throwing him under the bus anymore.
What would it be if the quarterback threw a pass down, the guy caught it, and then he
Lateral.
That'd be a lateral. Yeah.
I wonder if it'd be a pass to the point where he caught it and then a lateral.
And there's got to be a lateral. It's got to be a lateral once it's yeah.
He'd have to- he'd have
Rich,
to-
what is your
He'd have to
thought on
lateral
that?
it backwards.
I got nothing.
Yeah, we'll have the official.
Line Lindsey now in the backfield.
Yeah,
He brings
let's,
Mingo in motion.
if you're
There's that little
scoring
touch
at
pass, a
home.
little
Yeah, so,
razzle-dazzle
I don't know
to
if
the
we
near
have
side,
that.
and
You
hey,
see
got a
this
chance,
one.
20,
So Scott's
15,
watching
10.
along with
Gonna walk
Scott
into
Mills,
the end
and
zone
he said if
for
you've
the
got the audio
Trojans. That's a
to that
touchdown.
Jim Bourbon
Darius
Big Six,
Washington,
it's worked
touchdown.
its way in digital media, listening to how excited Xander got on that play. So we're going to roll that back, and we won't be able to hear it, but those of you at home, courtesy of Scott Mills, we're going to play this one for you. So we'll be quiet and listen to this one when Chuck gets that set up.
So we still don't get to hear Scott.
We still don't get yes. Is it really a Scott after all?
I haven't seen him in a year and a half.
Does he call the games from his phone
He watches
away from
he
Buckeye?
watches the broadcast and then calls it as he sees it. As he sees, he called one from Alaska. He's called one from Arkansas. Chuck, do you have that up that you can go? All right, let's do that.
Have Xander Smith up here with us providing some commentary.
That's an interception.
Intercepted at the 20, 25, 30.
Oh, he's gone.
Here he goes. Call it Xander.
That's Jim Burlew.
He's gone.
Oh, he's gone all the way.
Touchdown.
For those
That
of
was
you
a great
that
play.
got to watch that, and we'll go back
From
and
a
watch
guy
that
who had
call as well. I
11
have heard it a
interceptions
couple
a
of
year ago,
times,
right now.
and it
Xander Smith
is
got
good
it.
to see that emotion that comes from a young man that's just a year removed from being part of that passion and that is the Buckeye community on there. And so, I mean, it's hard to hide that excitement, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Well, there you have it. Great work.
And he doesn't have to.
Doesn't have to. That's right.
They're the voice of the Buckeyes.
They can do whatever they want to do,
That's
can't they?
right.
That's right. So everybody knows that Ash has the worst press box in 5A. There's no doubt about it. That's not a dig at anybody. But so the Natchitoches crew, they were, shoulder to shoulder with us the entire time on there. So yeah, there was some bleed over on our games, but you have that occasionally. So, but what a great night for it. Anyway,
We're just glad the population of Natchitoches is back to its regular
telling you,
deal
everybody
because
was
they
here.
were all down here with St. Mary's at Menard and Natchitoches Central at Ash.
well, and we found out they were all out of here, but it was Stephen F. Austin and Northwestern that were playing in Natchitoches,
Yeah,
right?
everybody left immediately after that one was over.
I think that was the first quarter, wasn't it?
Oh, goodness gracious. So we'll move on now, Chuck, if we can get back into our Quebedeaux Player of the Week. Now, just to set this up for you, and we're having, except for Tyler, who has Jacorian every single week, it seems
Not
like.
every week.
Not every week. But I don't blame him. But we're setting, so each week we'll name our Quebedeaux Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll select our Player of the Year from each of the teams, and there will be those 5 players, along with friends and family, are going to come in for a little banquet-style dinner where we'll recognize those young men, and we'll recognize our Quebedeaux Player of the Year. So you won't want to miss that. So let's start with our Quebedeaux Players of the Week. And Chuck, can we start with Pineville? Okay, we're going to go down there to my man Rich Dupree.
So there's a benefit to sitting to the far right. Okay, got it. So our our Quebedeaux Cajun Cafe Player of the Week comes from the defensive side of the football. He led the Rebels in tackles with 8 that night, and had a lot of opportunities to make them, but he's a young man that we really like calling out his name. He's a junior linebacker, and he goes from one side of the field to the other and makes a lot of tackles for us. So as we bring it up, Mr. Producer. Da-da-dum. Yeah, there we go. I was starting to sound dumb. Okay, it is Zane Seitz. Congratulations to number 45. Zane Seitz, junior linebacker, 6 foot, 181-pound junior linebacker. He is all over the field again from sideline to sideline. He is our Quebedeaux Cajun Cafe Player of the Week for the Pineville Rebels. Led the Rebel defense with 8 tackles on the night.
All right, thank you, sir. We'll move on to the Tioga side of that north side knockout, and we'll go to Billy French.
Yeah, well, for Tioga, again, you kind of gave it away a little bit. But,
All right, take that back.
This
All
young
right,
man, he had 2 catches. He had a rush. He fed everybody before the game.
There you go.
He had 3 interceptions on the defensive side, and it is number 1 senior wide receiver, safety, Jacorian Norris, who just seems to be everywhere. He had 3 interceptions, 2 of them for touchdowns, and he's also on the kickoff team. It just seems to be everywhere he needs to be. So Jacorian Norris, number 1, is our Quebedeaux Player of the Game.
I'll tell you, there's a lot of football yet to be played, but that young man is distancing himself as the Tioga's Player of the Year.
Absolutely.
He certainly is doing that. Over to the Bishop's Bowl in Menard.
The Bishop's Bowl at Menard, it's another senior. This young man plays both ways. Unfortunately, we don't have a pic of him, but we have his name on the board.
Why would we? Why would we? You got the helmet this week, so you can't have both. It's like Superman and Clark Kent when it comes to... Anyway, go right ahead.
I need to get one of my interns that I have working and start doing those pictures.
Right.
They went down and did the interview, and we forgot to get a picture. So, but he
Poor management.
He plays... Yeah.
You have interns?
He plays running back.
He does.
And also on defense. And for Friday night's game, he was all over the field on defense, making tackles and stuff in the run. Cooper Scott, number 33. He was our, if y'all remember last week, our Southern Air Cool play of the game with the strip of Monette and then running it back 60 yards for the touchdown. So if you remember that play, you can get a good picture of 33 as he's running down there.
If you just, for those of you scoring at home, that's right.
You can see his jersey running down the field.
Right, then we have that. So great job. And so I'm seeing a trend, and none of us get together and discuss our players of the week at all. We individually look at these things, but the Pineville side of it had a defensive player. The Tioga side had a defensive player. Menard's got one, and
I'm guessing it's offense.
I'm going down to Xander, and what do you guys have?
We have a sophomore. He's an outside linebacker and he plays defense.
Of course he does.
Yes,
It's
sir.
the defensive show.
Yes, sir. His name is Colt Vercher. He stopped the run.
It's Holt Vercher?
Colt.
Colt? We got a little, okay, I know. It just says, oh, it's a K.
Yes, that's a K.
Look, my glasses will be in. Next week's episode will be brought to you by wherever I got my glasses, and they're somewhere around here. So that does say Colt. Oh, well.
Yes, sir. He stopped the run.
Yes. Welcome to my world. And you got your glasses on.
Wow.
So yeah, go ahead.
He was just everywhere that night. He caught a pick himself.
Right.
And he was just stopping the run game because at the end of the game, Pine Prairie just wanted to run the ball, and Colt was there every time.
Right.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's good
for
to
y'all,
see.
that-
Yeah.
to go with that, because it would have been easy to go with Burler with
didn't
all
have
those
7
touchdowns.
this game. So
Right.
you gotta step up the game
Slacker.
next week.
Yeah. Still got on the cool play of the game.
He'd have a chance to be the player of the game
Every week, yeah.
Burlew
Finding
is
somebody else is good job.
right, and I echo again what the statement that I made a little earlier is that we don't get together and talk about any of this at all. But the Ash Trojans Quebedeaux Player of the Week comes from the defensive side of the ball. He had 12 tackles, 10 of them solo, 2 assists, and anywhere you go, recovered a fumble in the game as well. We had him on our show on Thursday nights. He comes in very soft-spoken, on the microphone, but on the field, he is everywhere. And it was a toss-up between this one and another young man that is everywhere as well. But this is senior defensive lineman Aiden Walker that is our Quebedeaux Player of the Week, and could have been at any time at all. A couple of others that were in the running for it. Jason Blackwell, of course, but Aiden Walker at the end of the day is our Quebedeaux Player of the game, and that's stunning that all 5 of them were from the defensive side of the ball. So those gentlemen are in the running for their respective schools Player of the Year, and also our overall Quebedeaux Cajun Cafe Player of the Year.
Hey, just one interesting tidbit on Cooper, because it made me stir a memory from Wednesday night. Our coach show at Wildwood Pizza. He was our senior profile, one of them with Carter Marcantel.
Okay.
And Cooper Scott actually going to be playing baseball at LSU E.
Really?
So not only is he a standout on the football field, but a standout on the baseball
So
field.
y'all had him on the show Wednesday night
We had him on the show Wednesday night.
and didn't get a picture.
No.
Okay, that's yes.
I knew you were going there.
You did. That's right.
I'm owning it.
That's right.
He was baiting you so
I
much.
got up and went at it. We wish Tom had went there.
That's right. Yes, we got to get this. I'm going to get the interns' numbers, and we're going to figure this out. I like what you guys are doing at halftime with the interns and the segments that they're doing, and that's part of what 446 Sports is about. Although we don't do it on our broadcast, but we don't have the interns either. So right, but it's spotlighting the entire
school. 446 Sports is all about.
Right. That's what. Yeah, we'll be right back after this. We're going to take our final timeout of the evening. We are rolling through this 5 o'clock hour, getting you set up for next week. We're going to talk about where we're at next week. We're going to talk about those standings. Trojans finally get off the schneid, and we'll. What'd he say? Our Chalk Talk. Yes, Chuck, the aptly named Chalk Talk, because if you look at the background, it looks like a chalkboard. I just found that out when he said Chalk Talk. I was like, why? He said it's a chalkboard. I was like, oh, okay. Anyway, there it is. That's the aforementioned chalkboard and Chalk Talk. We'll do all of that when we come back. You are watching Coach Speak here from Quebedeaux on 446 Sports.
Everybody dancing all night long. Everybody dancing all night long. Everybody dancing all night long. Somebody's dancing to my song.
Time for our red, white, and cool summer event at Southern Air Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Right now, you can save on a new energy saving system. No money down, 0% interest, and no payments till June 2024. Call Southern Air Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing or visit us online.
For a lifetime of the best possible vision, look to Wallace Eye Associates, where our tradition of eye care excellence in Cenla spans nearly 40 years. From your next family eye exam to cataract and glaucoma evaluations, trust your vision to the experienced eye professionals at Wallace Eye Associates. Call Wallace Eye Associates today at 318-448-4488 to schedule your next eye evaluation.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks right from your phone, day or night, wherever you are or whatever you're doing. Download our mobile app today.
And we are back here to Quebedeaux. And again, a big thanks to Chef Jean and his family and all of the folks here that make Quebedeaux what it is. Come out and join us Thursday night for the Tioga Coaches Show that is here. Of course, you can catch the Bryant Bell Show on Thursday nights out at Jim Deggy's. You'll want to do that. Wednesday nights you'll find the Eagles folks over at Wildwood Pizza in Alexandria, and then Thursday night we'll be over at Walk-Ons. But I invite you to come by here, and I promise the special that they have during the week here, the $10.99, which I think that's about your favorite one when you come here.
It is. It's a good lunch portion with, a protein, a pasta side and a salad for, under $11, and it's quick and good food as well. So the grilled catfish and, a little mac and cheese thrown in there is good as well. And, so.
We're going to take our another time out.
We're going to take our next to the final time out. Chuck, we may, Xander, would you go and open that door for Brett, who didn't get the memo? Brett McCormick joining us on the for the final segment.
Wow.
Yep. And our apologies out to Brett for him not getting the memo that the show is in its regularly slotted time of 5 o'clock. But I will tell you this, if you're not following him on X or Twitter, or you're not following your X on Twitter, what is it? It's X?
X.
Jesus, following your
Your Twitter now X.
Right, now it's...
Doug's following.
Anyway, yeah, this is absolutely
How
one of
many
those...
X's do you have to follow?
I don't know if y'all are enjoying this, but we are.
moving right along. The
As he did.
post-game interviews that Brett did with Coach Bachman and then with Coach Curtis. Brett, how do they follow you on Twitter?
Right here.
Yeah, just come right on this side of it, by Xander there, wherever it's at. Yeah, no, just leave it sitting down and pull your chair up. Nothing like live TV
That's right.
at its finest.
I'm good.
There's
I'm
his-
good right here. It's B-Hoss Mac, B_Hoss_MAC. That's where everybody can find me.
And great questions. And look, so a couple of the questions, the coaches were like, I can't believe he's really asking me this, but it's a great question. And so here's the answer. And I mean, you did questions that need to be asked.
Well, and the one that I really liked was I just happened to drop by practice on Monday at Ash, and I didn't get to talk to Coach Bachman because he was in his meeting for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And so I just asked him, did that carry over to Friday? And it obviously did. It carried over.
Right.
So.
Well, it was a great event out there, and all the photos that you take a lot of photos from around there too, and they can find that where?
On my Facebook.com/1T Photography. That's ONET Photography.
There you have it, Brett. Thank you so much. Glad you stopped by. Sorry that we'll have you in the loop. I take full responsibility for Billy not calling you and telling you that.
You can have some food, though.
So
We'll be okay.
it is time for Chalk Talk, and what that does is allow us to go back and we'll look at last week's results. We'll go back. We've talked about them, but Chuck's going to put those up, and we'll let you see where that is. That's that logo of it. So we'll move on to the results, and you see that the top two, of course, they equal each other. Buckeyes big win, Menard not so much, and the Trojans get on board with their first victory. I promise that's what it says. You just can't see that far either, can you?
We got to have a bigger monitor.
We'll get a screen to put on the wall over there.
It's
But
the
yes,
font.
he's right. No, but that's chalk.
That's
So
chalk. That's
see,
cursive.
that's it. So
I like it.
and we're going to look at the standings. Chuck, is that where we're going? And Tioga still sits atop the list at 3-0. Buckeye is there at 2-1, and then it's followed up by Ash, Menard, and Pineville. Alphabetically speaking, is how those are listed, and so they're there at 1 and 2 in the group that's trying to get to 500.
The tail of the Y making a 3?
No, that's a 3.
Okay.
I would fail this visual test. Can you read the bottom line? No, I can't.
I'm not going to be able to drive home.
Yeah.
So, and we'll look at our upcoming games. We've not really been able to talk to somebody else. You're going to have to take us through who that is. So Tioga's first on there. What do you have and where are you?
All right, Tioga will be heading over to Marksville. We're going to be playing the Marksville Tigers, and broadcast will be live and probably in the back of a truck. But we are going to be having it rolling, and we're going to be excited about winning.
Let's just clarify that a little bit. There's no room in the press box. So what we did 2 years ago when we were there is we were on the visitor side of it when Ash went to Marksville and had the generator. And they let you pull right up to the bleachers, but the band was right there, and we're able to filter that out, thank goodness. But you have the generator, you'll have your portable internet, and you'll stand up in the back of the truck the whole game and call it. And Hope for the best seeing
That's
that
all.
on that.
Hey, it's gonna be fun.
But the show must go on.
That's
Our
right.
rebels,
Colin.
our rebels at Pineville. Rich, what do you have?
We are on the road, headed to Lake Charles to take on the Barb Buccaneers. They are in District 3 5A. They're 1-2 on the season, so been doing a little research on them already. A common opponent, if you will. They played Karen Crow in week 2 and lost 60-14 to Karen Crow.
I remember those Golden Bears.
Yeah, I knew you would, so bring that up. They played at Sam Houston on Friday night and lost 36-22, so we'll get to go to Barb, one of the few road trips that we have down south, and it'll be the first time for us to go to Barb. So, I'm hoping they have. We'll check out their facilities and make sure all that's set up. But we'll be on the air 6:45 from Lake Charles next Friday night.
I will tell you, their baseball facility is pretty cool. There are a lot of national champions, and they've got the big sign out there, so it's worth going by and seeing that. Barb certainly can swing the bat and play baseball. We'll see how they fare against the Rebels in football. Buckeye.
We're gonna be playing Vidalia at Buckeye for our homecoming game.
Homecoming, week 4, I guess it is. That's an early one, huh?
Yes, sir. It is.
There you go, the Vidalia Vikings. Is that who's
sir.
coming in? There you go. The Menard Eagles.
We'll be traveling to Sacred Heart and probably standing in the back of a pickup truck as well because it's a tiny school. It's a tiny press box. I'll have to figure out if we'll be able to even set up in there, but we'll be fine. We're going to try to repay Sacred Heart for last year. They came up to the Eagles' Nest and beat us 20-0. It was 6-0 at the half, and then they put 14 on the Eagles in the third quarter, and ended up being 20-0. So the Eagles looking for a little revenge. Sacred Heart's 2-1 on the year. They are 1-1 at home. So we'll see if we can make them 1-2.
Very good. The Alexandria Trojans will make the trip down south again, just southeast, I guess, of Baton Rouge down to Gonzales, and they'll take on East Ascension. Don't let the record fool you. East Ascension is 0-3, but again, a tremendous power rating. They've lost to the likes of Zachary in that one, and so all three of their opponents are highly ranked opponents in those games. So there's one win between Ash and East Ascension, but don't let that fool you. This is going to be a big one.
Do you get paid by the mile? Because y'all have gone to Karen Crow, St. Thomas More, and now you're heading to East Ascension.
You would think that we ought to, and then, of course, District 2 5A, Rich can attest to this, a lot of trips up to the northeast corner
Do y'all
of
have
the
to
state.
make those trips this year to Monroe, or y'all alternate?
I'm going to coach speak you right here. We don't look past any opponent that's not an opponent this week. We're not looking towards those games in district. Brett can tell us.
I know they do go to Ruston. West Monroe comes
here in week 6.
I think Ouachita might come here. I'm not sure about that one.
Yes, and then we take a trip to West Ouachita, which still don't know how we'll get there. Don't know which way you go to get to West.
That's good cover.
Thank you. So, my man, which game are you going to be at, Brett, this week?
I'm actually leaving the parish twice. On Thursday, I'm going up to Natchitoches to catch St. Mary's and DeQuincy, and then going to watch what I think is the game of the year Friday night at Ruston, Lafayette Christian against Ruston.
Indeed, it is. So we'll look forward to your updates from that one as well, and plenty of good photos in that as well. So that, I think, takes care of our Chalk Talk version of that. We had all of those. Again, we'll re-hit where you guys are going one more time and quickly on that.
We're at Barb on Friday night, so headed to Lake Charles for the first time. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, we're going to be heading over to Marks Hill, Battle of the Unbeatens.
So
both teams undefeated as going into this matchup.
We were all at home last week, I think, and now we'll all be, most of us all, except for Buckeye on homecoming because Alexandria makes a trip down. And got some friends that are down there that we've met during the day job, and there's been a little bit of friendly banter between those. Not quite the enjoyable friendly banter that goes on down here on that end of the table, but it's been fun there. And you guys...
Eagles, we travel about 45 minutes south to Ville Platte, and we'll take on Sacred Heart of Ville Platte as part of the Catholic tour.
There you go. And again, you guys have homecoming.
Yes, sir. Vidalia comes to Buckeye Friday night.
There you go. And of course, Brett, we heard where you're going to be. We thank everybody for what they do in joining us. We could not have Coach speak our program on Sunday nights live from Quebedeaux unless we thank the folks at Quebedeaux on there.
You can't just walk in. They won't let you just walk in.
No, they frown on that. Although a lot of people do come up to the door and try to walk in on a Sunday night, and we've got to tell them we're closed. Like, no, you're in there. Like, well, I know what you're saying, but
It's the paparazzi. That's what it is.
That's it.
there you go. Oh my, that's right. Well, it was a great week. It's been a great start to the season. Can you guys believe it's week 4 already?
It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking. It's already homecoming down here. And man, a lot of the rivalry games, district is starting to get on the horizon for us. I know the Rebels, the Rebels and I, we're in that same District 2-5A, so there are a lot of trips against the Rustons and Washingtons, and those guys, and so it gets tough. Billy, a little overview of your district.
Yeah, we got Neville, Franklin Parish, Grant, but we this year we get to travel to Neville, which if you've never gone to Neville, it's like a college atmosphere. It's really fun over there. So we're really looking forward to that big game.
Tell you what I'm looking at is your senior night there, as you guys will host Peabody.
Yes.
That's gonna be a pretty good matchup there. That's
They're fast. Peabody's fast, and it's going to be a good match. It's not like the old matchups where you go in there and you kind of dominate. Peabody's got a very, very good team over there.
That's going to be interesting, and the more confidence that they gain. Your district changed a little bit last year, but give us an idea on that.
Yeah, our district is really only 5 teams.
Right.
And we've got Vernon Parish and I think Beauregard, Rose Pine in Beauregard.
Right.
We'll be on the road at both of them. Voiles stayed, that they were the same part of the district that we were in prior, and they stayed with us. That's going to be an interesting game coming up later in the year as Voiles, doesn't have the old coach. So, we might actually see a real kickoff, and
the Andy Boone days, indeed.
yeah.
That's right.
And then we have Oakdale, and that was a winnable game last year that the guys just kind of wore out at the end in Oakdale. So they'll have that come in, and that's going to actually be homecoming.
Right.
In late October.
Well, that's going to be
40th high school reunion. That
wow. How about that? I don't know that I
you
am
weren't even
40.
born then.
Are you 40
I'm
yet,
42.
Billy?
42.
Goodness gracious, 40 also, or 40? Oh, 42 indeed. And give us a little idea about the district that Buckeyes in.
We got Bolton. Our first district game, we got Bolton, which is away.
Right.
We traveled to Bolton. We got Bunkie, which is home the week after. And then we got Caldwell. It's away. We have to travel to Caldwell. Then Marksville, home.
Right.
And then we have Gina, home.
Was able to talk to Coach McLaughlin, and he's excited about where they're at and that offense getting in line and the work of Burlew and everybody that's involved in that, and looking forward to that district. Billy, you had...
No, they're going to be matched up. The way they're going right now, that Gina Buckeye game's going to be pretty special for
and
sure.
Bunkie as well.
Yeah, I really like that district this year. Marksville's much improved, Bunkie's much improved, and Gina is always very, very
Gina's
good.
legit.
So Buckeye's going to have some challenging district opponents this year.
The battling Burlews, though, we'll see what they're able to pull off here as we roll along. Still have a couple of weeks to get into that. Ash has homecoming in week 5, so they're a couple of weeks away from that. Guys, that's going to do it. We'll hit our final thoughts segment here. Rich, your final thoughts on week 3 as we look ahead to 4.
Well, a chance to get better this week, get back out on the field, travel to an opponent that's not that familiar with you or you with them, and get us back to 500 and get the second win of the season. As we have one more non-district game that will be homecoming the following week at home before we open up with West Monroe at home in week 6.
Wait a minute. Y'all open up at home, West Monroe, in week 6. I guess my information was incorrect about us opening up at home against West Monroe in week 6. So sorry about that, Brett. I was off.
I think that's week 8 for you.
Okay,
guys.
there you go. See what I know. We take one game at a time. We don't like anyway. That's it. Billy, final thoughts?
Super excited about our big win. Of course, that's always a fun game to play against the rivals there. But of course, you chalk it up, go to the next one. Excited about seeing this matchup. I'm curious to see Marksville, coming in undefeated this year, which is, a little different than what in the past. So it's kind of get refocused and see what this secondary can do again.
Tom.
Yeah, again, the Eagles are playing hard. They bought into David Perkins and Coach Scully and the group you know, and the philosophy. The Sacred Heart Trojans are 2-1. We're 1-2, so we'll hopefully, you know, both be 2-2 after the game. So the Eagles come out with a win. And it's a great little community to go down and call it. It's been several years since I called a game, and in Sacred Heart in Ville Platte, but they have they really have a nice crowd that shows up,
right?
And it's pretty fiery. So it'll be a good contest, hard hitting.
Looking forward to that, Xander.
I'm glad about last week. I'm happy to see how much they improved, and I'm ready to see how this week's game goes, because last year, Vidalia, we went in there with our heads like we were about to win, and it did not go so well for us. So
The great Mike Tyson said, everybody's got to play until what? Till they get punched in the mouth.
right in the mouth.
So that's right.
And we're ready to see how much they improved since last year, because they're 3-0 and we're 2-1. So
Should be a battle.
yes, sir.
Brett?
I have a lot of thoughts, but I want to take just a moment to recognize something off the field.
Okay.
Last weekend, we lost somebody who was very important to high school athletics in this area, who did it for the same reason we all do it, and that's Harley Ryder.
Yeah.
He worked with kids at all 5 of these schools, you know, training them, and I had a chance to go to the visitation, and it was just, you could see how many people he impacted, you know, and I just wanted to take the opportunity to acknowledge to his family and what a loss that is for our high school sports community.
We talked to Coach Bachman about him a little bit on the show as well. And as we wrap things up, I'll take a moment of personal privilege on here as well. And I'd like to ask for all of your prayers in this. Dear friend of mine, a neighbor of mine, got the call last night around midnight that they found a heart for her. And she is over in Dallas now preparing for a heart transplant. And so we would ask that all of your prayers are with her in all of this. It's one of those, they'll get over there and see if the heart is a match, and she's able to do that. 6:30 is when she's supposed to know about that. So it's about a 3-month recovery over there. Just know that we got you back here from Central Louisiana. Guys, that's going to wrap it up. As much as he thinks the game of the year is LCA and Ruston, it's not going to be a bad tussle down in Gonzales between East Ascension and Alexandria. Don't let the records fool you in that. For everybody that's on the panel here, Brett, thank you for coming in. Next time, our regularly scheduled slot is 5 o'clock. By the way, disregard the 6, 7, and 5 that we've had throughout the others, but 5 o'clock is going to be our regular time that was out here. Xander, thank you so much for stepping in and helping out with Scott. Tom, we appreciate what you do there with Menard. For Billy, for my man Rich Dupree, and of course pushing all our buttons. Yes. I mean, the production buttons. Of course, my man Chuck Perkins. I am Doug Gant. God bless you all, and good night.